Do you ever feel like you are just a ghost in a machine? Do you ever wake up, drink your coffee, drive to work, pay your bills, and feel like you are just a tiny, insignificant cog in a giant, cold, mechanical universe? You look at the stars and you feel small. You look at your problems and you feel helpless. You feel like life is something that happens to you, not something that comes from you. We are taught from the moment we are born that the world is made of hard, solid stuff. We are taught that cause and effect are rigid. If you drop a glass, it breaks. If you run out of money, you are poor. If you get sick, you are a victim of biology. We are taught to live in a Newtonian world, a world of billiard balls hitting each other, a world of separation. A world where you are over here and your dreams are way over there, separated by a bridge you can't seem to cross. But what if I told you that the bridge already exists? What if I told you that the feelings of anxiety, of longing, of connection, and of sudden intuition that you feel every day are not just emotions? What if they are actually evidence that you are a quantum being operating in a quantum universe? We have a problem in our society. We have a gap. On one side, we have the scientists in white coats telling us that matter is an illusion, that particles can be in two places at once, and that time doesn't exist. On the other side, we have us trying to pay rent, trying to find love, trying to figure out why we are sad. We treat these two worlds as separate. We think quantum physics is something that happens in a billion-dollar particle accelerator in Switzerland. We don't think it is happening in our kitchen while we make toast. But today, we are going to close that gap. We are going to take the spookiest, weirdest, most mind-bending concepts of quantum mechanics, and we are going to translate them into a manual for living. We are going to stop looking at quantum physics as science and start looking at it as psychology. If you are ready to stop feeling like a victim of reality and start realizing that you are the architect of it, please hit that subscribe button right now, because we are about to hand you the keys to the machine. The first bridge we need to build is over the concept of the observer effect. In the lab, this is the famous discovery that an electron behaves like a wave, a cloud of infinite possibility, until a scientist measures it. The moment it is watched, it snaps into a particle. It becomes a solid thing. Okay, that is science, but how does that bridge to your life? Think about your attention. Your attention is not just a flashlight that reveals things. Your attention is a molding clay that creates things. Most of us live our lives on autopilot. We let our attention drift to whatever is loudest. The news, the drama, the fear, the regret. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think is, I am so tired, I have so much to do, I am never going to get ahead, do you know what you are doing? You are acting as the observer. You are looking at the wave of your day, which started as infinite possibility, and you are collapsing it into a particle called struggle. You are measuring your life through the lens of scarcity. So the universe presents you with a solid reality of scarcity. Bridge the gap by realizing this: you are not observing your life, you are collapsing your life. Every time you obsess over a mistake you made 5 years ago, you are freezing that event in time. You are keeping it solid. You are keeping the trauma alive by observing it. Every time you worry about a future disaster that hasn't happened yet, you are taking a wave of potential and you are biasing it toward disaster. You are looking for the car crash, so you manifest the car crash. To apply quantum physics to your life, you have to become a conscious observer. You have to wake up and say, today I am going to observe opportunity. I am going to look for it. I am going to measure my day by how much gratitude I can find. When you do that, you aren't just thinking positive. That is a weak phrase. You are changing the experimental parameters of your existence. You are forcing the electrons of your experience to snap into a pattern of abundance. This isn't magic, it is the mechanics of focus. What you observe, you create. What you ignore remains a wave. Now let's cross the second bridge, the bridge of superposition. In quantum mechanics, Schrödinger's cat is both alive and dead until you open the box. A particle is in all possible locations at once until it interacts with something. In your life, this is the feeling of overwhelm and paralysis. We live in a world of infinite choices. You can be anything, you can go anywhere, you can marry anyone. And because we can do anything, we often do nothing. We sit in a state of superposition. We are afraid to choose a career because if we choose to be a painter, we kill the version of us that became a lawyer. If we choose to move to New York, we kill the version of us that lived in London. We try to keep all the doors open. We try to keep all the waves flowing. But do you know what happens to a wave that never collapses? It never becomes real. It stays a ghost. There are so many people walking around today who are suffering from quantum paralysis. They are 30, 40, 50 years old, and they still don't know what they want to be when they grow up. They are waiting for the universe to decide for them. But the universe can't decide. The universe is waiting for the observer. To bridge this gap, you have to understand that making a decision, any decision, is an act of creation. When you commit to something, you are collapsing the wave function. Yes, you are killing the other possibilities. Yes, the other cats die, but the one you choose becomes alive. It becomes real, it becomes solid. The anxiety you feel when you have to make a choice isn't just fear. It is the sensation of multiple timelines vibrating in your head. The relief you feel after you finally make the choice isn't just psychological. It is the peace of a single, defined reality. Don't be afraid to collapse the wave. Don't be afraid to open the box. A life of maybe is a life that was never lived. A wrong choice is better than no choice because a wrong choice is at least real. You can navigate a particle. You cannot navigate a cloud. Now let's talk about the most beautiful bridge, the bridge of entanglement. In the lab, two particles can be linked so that they share a destiny. If you spin one, the other spins, even if they are on opposite sides of the galaxy. Distance doesn't matter, they are one. In your everyday life, we call this love, we call this empathy, we call this intuition. Have you ever thought about a friend you haven't seen in years, and then 2 seconds later they text you? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the vibe was heavy, even though no one was speaking? Have you ever felt a physical pain in your chest when someone you love is hurting? Newtonian physics says this is impossible. Newtonian physics says you are a biological robot contained within your skin, and your friend is a robot over there, and unless you shout at each other, you cannot transfer information. Newtonian physics is wrong. Quantum physics provides the bridge to understand human connection. We were all forged in the same Big Bang. Every atom in your body was once crushed against every atom in my body in a singularity smaller than a grain of sand. We are all entangled. The illusion of separation is just that, an illusion caused by the way our eyes process light. When you bridge this gap, you stop feeling lonely. You realize that loneliness is just a failure to recognize the web. You realize that the way you treat a stranger is actually the way you treat yourself, because on a quantum level, there is no stranger. There is only the other part of the system. This changes how you navigate conflict. If you are arguing with your spouse and you view them as a separate enemy that you need to defeat, you are playing a zero-sum game. But if you view them through the lens of entanglement, you realize that hurting them is literally hurting yourself. You cannot poison the other end of the connection without the poison traveling back to you. Bridging the gap means living with the awareness that you are constantly broadcasting and receiving energy. It means trusting your gut. Your gut is just your quantum receiver picking up on entanglement data that your logical brain can't see yet. If you feel bad about a business deal, don't do it. That isn't fear, that is data. That is spooky action at a distance telling you that the future of this deal is spinning down, not up. Now let's look at the bridge of quantum tunneling. This is the phenomenon where a particle encounters a wall that it shouldn't be able to cross. It doesn't have enough energy to jump over it. It doesn't have enough energy to break through it. In the classical world, it should bounce off. It should fail. But in the quantum world, the particle sometimes just walks through the wall. It disappears on one side and reappears on the other. It borrows energy from the future to overcome the obstacle in the present. How does this apply to your life? This is the bridge to resilience and miracles. We all face walls: the wall of debt, the wall of addiction, the wall of grief, the wall of a diagnosis. You look at the wall and you do the math. You say, I don't have the money to fix this. I don't have the strength to get through this. Logic says I am finished. That is the Newtonian mindset. That is the billiard ball hitting the wall and stopping. But the quantum mindset knows about tunneling. The quantum mindset knows that sometimes the path forward isn't linear. Sometimes you don't climb the mountain. Sometimes you phase through it. This happens when you surrender. Have you ever noticed that the biggest breakthroughs in your life often happen right after you completely give up trying to control everything? You struggle and struggle and struggle, and then you finally say, I can't do this anymore. You let go. And suddenly the answer appears, the phone rings, the check arrives, the pain lifts. Why? Because when you were struggling, you were reinforcing the wall. You were observing the obstacle. You were making it solid. When you surrendered, you stopped observing the wall. You turned yourself back into a wave. You allowed the probability field to shift. You allowed yourself to tunnel. Bridging the gap means trusting that just because you can't see a way through doesn't mean there isn't one. It means understanding that reality is more porous than it looks. It means that impossible is just a word for low probability, and low probability events happen every single day. Finally, let's build the bridge of time. In quantum mechanics, time is not a straight arrow pointing from yesterday to tomorrow. Time is symmetric. The future can affect the past. The past can be rewritten by the future. In your life, this is the bridge of healing and vision. We think the past is set in stone. We think I had a bad childhood, therefore I am a damaged adult. We think the cause, childhood, always precedes the effect, damage. But if time is fluid, then you can change the past. Not by hopping in a time machine, but by changing your relationship to it in the present. When you go to therapy or when you meditate and you reframe a traumatic memory, when you look at that scared little kid you used to be and you give them love, you are sending a signal back in time. You are altering the emotional resonance of the past. You are changing the frequency of the memory. You are acting as the delayed choice quantum eraser. You are erasing the trauma marker from the timeline. And by the same token, you can use the future to pull you forward. This is what visualization is. When you visualize your future self, successful, happy, healthy, you aren't just daydreaming. You are creating a quantum entanglement with a future timeline. You are throwing a grappling hook into the future and pulling yourself toward it. If you can feel the emotion of your future success right now, your brain doesn't know the difference. You start to vibrate at the frequency of that future. You start to act like that person. You start to make choices like that person. You are borrowing energy from your future self to fuel your present self. So how do we put this all together? How do we actually live this way every day? You have to stop thinking of yourself as a noun and start thinking of yourself as a verb. You are not a thing, you are a happening. You are a dynamic, shimmering field of energy that is constantly interacting with the field around you. Here is your daily practice to bridge the gap. 1. Wake up as the observer. Before you look at your phone, before you let the world tell you who to be, take 1 minute to decide what you are going to observe today. Set the parameters of the experiment. Today, I am observing kindness. Today, I am observing progress. Collapse the wave early. 2. Respect the superposition. When you feel anxious about a decision, remind yourself, this is just the chaos of potential. Don't be afraid of it, but don't stay in it. Practice making small, fast decisions to get used to collapsing reality. Train your muscle of choice. 3. Feel the entanglement. When you walk down the street, look at strangers and think, that is another version of me. That is another part of the universe. Break the illusion of separation. It will lower your social anxiety and increase your compassion instantly. 4. Trust the tunneling. When you hit a wall, don't bang your head against it. Step back, stop observing the problem so hard. Go for a walk, meditate, let the wave function spread out. Give the universe room to slip you the answer through the back door. 5. Be a time traveler. Forgive your past self. They were doing the best they could with the data they had. Love your future self. They are waiting for you to catch up. Live in the present, but stay connected to the whole timeline. The gap between science and spirituality is closing. The gap between the real world and the magic world is closing. You are the bridge. You are the place where the quantum universe becomes conscious of itself. Stop waiting for miracles to happen to you. A miracle is just a shift in perception. A miracle is just a collapse of a wave function that looked impossible until you looked at it differently. You have the power, you have the hardware, you have the software. Stop living like a machine. Start living like a creator. The universe is not punishing you. It is not blessing you. It is responding to you. It is waiting for you to open your eyes and tell it what to be. So look at your life, look closely. What do you see? Because whatever you see, that is what you are building. If this video helped you build a bridge between your mind and your reality, please hit that like button. It helps us entangle with more people who need to hear this. And share this with someone who feels stuck. Tell them you aren't stuck, you're just in a sewer position. Hit subscribe for more user manuals for the human experience. I'll see you in the next observation.